David, thanks for those kind words and thanks for your time. It's good to be here. Look, we've only got a very short time, so there's 5 areas I'd briefly like to cover. If we could go to the next slide. First of all, I'll give you a quick background of the Australian residential market, and more importantly, we'll focus in on the role that inspections play within that market. We'll then move to Percy, give you a quick introduction to our platform and articulate why we think we're the platform that will disrupt the market. We'll then talk about the considerable progress that the team have made over the course of 2021, over the last six to 8 months. We'll then articulate what our ambition is for AssetOwl in 2022, and then we'll round out by a quick summary of what I think are the investment highlights for the company. Next slide, please. So a quick background to the Australian residential market. It is a big market. There's over 2.5 million rentals. So not only is it a big market, it's important to the economy, and for households, real estate are often the central part of their wealth creation strategy. So property inspections are important because they support owners and households in delivering that strategy. And they support it because they're the mechanism through which property owners monitor the condition of their properties. For those who don't know or haven't rented for a while, there are basically 3 types of inspections. There's entry inspections or property condition reports, which basically document the property's condition at the start of a tenancy. You then have a series of what we call routine inspections, which monitor from time to time the condition of the property, how the tenants are going, and identify any maintenance issues. And then at the end of the tenancy, you have a final bond inspection where they compare the condition of the property with that at the start and determine whether the tenants are able to get their bond back or not. So they're very important, but they're very time consuming, and inspections are often the source of much friction between the various stakeholders in the tenancy. Next slide, please. We believe that the legacy inspection tools have really, I suppose, failed to provide the adequate support that the industry requires. And that's across all stakeholder groups. So there are 4 main stakeholders in the tenancy cycle. Each have got their own particular individual problems and challenges. If we start with property managers, a very high stress role, they're very time poor, and often property managers are caught in the middle of a lot of conflict between owners and tenants. And they also have to manage the agency principles. Very often, a worst case, throughout a tenancy, they're the ones that are going to court trying to resolve disputes over bonds. Agency principals, they're also an important stakeholder. They're obviously worried about business development. They want to maintain their rent roll. That's the important part of their business. And in an ideal world, they'd seek to grow that rent roll. But in addition to that, as small businesses throughout the economy are facing, they have employee and personnel challenges. They want to keep their good staff. It's a stressful role that their property managers are in. And so they want to provide the sort of level of support needed to keep their good staff. Property owners, we've talked about that briefly. It's a very important part of their wealth creation strategies. And whilst it's often the single biggest investment that a household will make, they feel very disempowered because they don't have the opportunity to monitor the condition of their property or their investment on a day-to-day basis. So there's a lot of anxiety around their investment, especially if they can't see their property firsthand. And that, of course, percolates through and adds to the challenge of the tenancy arrangement. And finally, we have, of course, last but no means least, the tenants. Moving house can be very stressful. The inspection regime is quite onerous. In West Australia, they have to go through 4 routine inspections per year. And of course, at the end of the tenancy, they're worried about whether they're going to get their bond back. And for some people, $1,000, $2,000 bond, that's a very important part of making ends meet. Next slide, please. So what does Percy do? Our property platform, or our inspection platform, basically creates a photocentric view and comprehensive inspection report. It streamlines all three inspections, entry, routine, and exits. It helps streamline the tenant process because they can digitally sign off entry reports. And as a tool, our platform is available across the full spectrum of devices, whether it's desktop, laptop, or phones, whether it's Android or iOS. And more importantly, what our platform delivers is high quality reports, which we believe will reduce the likelihood of disputes, and it delivers a lot of productivity benefits. And we'll talk about that in a moment. Next slide. So We've talked about what Percy delivers. The next question, the next obvious question is, how does it deliver that? Well, we have a technology focus that we believe sets us apart from our competitors. There's a wide range of features that our platform has that we think delivers value. 4 of the key ones are on the slide in front. The first one is panoramic photos. We are the only inspection tool that integrates with panoramic 360-degree cameras. That delivers a lot of productivity benefits for the owners, and we'll elaborate on that, and also reduces the likelihood of disputes and improves the quality of the report. The second key feature is data syncing. So we have our platform is live syncing. That delivers 2 key benefits for stakeholders. First of all, it enhances the security of the data, less likelihood of losing data in the field. And secondly, it enables a number of people to work on a property inspection simultaneously. So that does save time. And of course, in some properties, it's also a security benefit, because you can, from a safety point of view, have more than one property manager doing the report. Exit inspections. I just want to quickly touch on that. This year, we've learned a lot about entry inspections. We've been very surprised to find that whilst some of our customers have signed up to other inspection tools, when it comes to exit inspections, they're still printing out the old entry report, taking it into the property and conducting entry inspections by hand and paper. It just highlights the lack of support that previous inspection tools have provided. And for us, it's an opportunity, most importantly, an opportunity to help our customers and help them improve their business. And finally, there's data migration. That's a key feature that we've just rounded out. One of the challenges, historical challenges for property agencies, is what to do with their old paper-based reports. We have a capability to bring that onto our platform, so it's digitised and kept and stored securely on our platform. Next slide. So let's talk about 2021. Look, that's been a very busy year, and we believe we've achieved a lot. If I was to summarise our successes, I'd say they fall in 3 broad areas. First of all, we've delivered value for our customers. Secondly, we've seen an accelerating uptake of our product, which is very exciting. And thirdly, our development team have delivered upon a number of product milestones. And I'll quickly step you through each of those in a bit more detail. Next slide. So as you can gather, we believe our platform delivers productivity across the range or across the cycle of the tenancy, but we often focus on the productivity benefits at the start at an inspection platform. So if you look at the old system, property managers will take over 1,000 photos. Using our 3D camera, that comes down to 200 photos. So that's a saving of approximately 2 hours per inspection. For a mid-sized agency that does, say, 400 inspections, that's 800 hours saved. That's a lot of productivity benefit. And what's not brought out by the slide is, as you can perhaps imagine, the agency themselves are the ones that are capturing the lion's share of that productivity benefit. Next slide, please. With respect to rollout, the second quarter of the calendar year, around April, we had 2 customers. That's now grown to 35 over the course of 7 to 8 months. If you look at just WA, which has been our prime focus this year, we have 33 customers on our platform. They collectively are responsible for about 12,500 properties. That represents approximately 8% of the market. So we're very happy with the progress that we've made. We're now starting to get a better feel for the profile of our customers, and it is a very wide range and diverse bunch. So we have property agents on our platform in the city, in the regions, small agencies, large agencies, franchise agencies, and sole traders. So we've learned a lot from them. It's a good mix, and we've been very excited by our traction. Next slide, please. So obviously we've learned a lot throughout the year, and we've been very careful and diligent in applying some of those lessons learned into our development pipeline. As you can see, there's been a very busy year for us. We've entered Victoria, we've launched exit features, we've worked closely with independent inspection agencies, and importantly at the moment we're developing or upgrading our sync protocol. We're expanding the capacity of our infrastructure, and that will all set us up for a very exciting 2022. Next slide, please. So what's on our agenda for 2022? Front and centre first half of next year, we'll be continuing our East Coast rollout. So in the next 6 months, we are targeting entry into Queensland and New South Wales, two of the largest markets in the country. The second half of the year, we'll look to build on that. We'll look to leverage the platform and the traction that we have in the marketplace to source new revenue streams. One example of that is the self-managed market, self-managed real estate market. We're quite excited about that prospect, and it's something we're going to look into focus on more heavily next year. And in the longer term, there is a path for long-term growth. Some of our competitors have shown that Australian inspection companies or inspection platform companies are able to cut it overseas, and that's something we'll be looking at closely next year. We also believe that we have a rich source of data, and we can start interrogating that data to provide insights for our customers. Next slide, please. So just to wrap up, there are 5 key traits or key highlights to us as an investment proposition. We are supporting a large, important part of the economy. We are providing a service that is non-discretionary. The market is fragmented. It's a fragmented customer base. We believe it's ripe for disruption. We have the product. We have the technology focus. We have a runway. And we believe that with our current share price and the accelerated uptake, that we have a clear value proposition for investors. So, David, that's me. Over to you for questions. Hopefully, we've left enough time.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Geoff. A couple of questions have come through, but before we get to that, just a bit of background. Are you and your team former real estate people or in the industry, or are you technology people that have seen a problem?
That's a really good question. So our founder, Giuseppe, our Chief Technology Officer, very much technology background, ex-Google, felt that Google, he could do a better job than what Google was doing in a lot of areas. So he left Google and set up his own company. But he's very passionate about solving problems, and that's technical background is very useful there. He's also done his property management qualification. But we also have on our board our chairman, who's got a real estate background. His family business used to own Roy Weston, one of the bigger franchises in WA. We have Geoff Goldsmith, who is an industry veteran. So I like to see our company as technology-led, but very much a fusion of technology and property experience and background.
And how long was the gestation period to get to that product launch? How extensive, I suppose, was the proof of concept stage and to make sure you were delivering a product that the market wanted?
So Giuseppe's original focus was on supporting, believe it or not, retail industry. So Bunnings, Wesfarmers, Coles, Woolworths. 2019 pivoted into this space, special connections with Geoff Goldsmith and Simon. So they spent 2019 rounding out the product. 2020, the plan was to launch it and hit the market hard. COVID came along, took the time to integrate the product with Trust Tools, which is a very important piece of work, but also develop a few COVID-related features, which I haven't talked about, but they're quite exciting and they're going to remain relevant. So last year was about really, I suppose, shoring up the product and the features and the functionality. This year has been about rolling out in WA, getting that initial market feedback, which is very valuable and very important, and sets us up for next year, which is the rollout and the scale up.
How competitive is this space? And I know there are probably people out there who do bits of what you do, not the complete package. But how competitive is it? And what's your competitive edge that sees you lead over competitors?
Yeah, so there's arguably 4 or 5 main competitors. I think one of our main edge is obviously our technology focus and our technology background. So that panoramic cameras, no one else has got. Data seeking, no one else has got. So I suppose we're here to disrupt the market. We think there's a need. We think that the market hasn't been well served. And we've got those market-leading features. I liken the panoramic camera to electric vehicles. Everyone knows that the car industry is moving there, and in 10 years' time, everyone will have an electronic car. It's just a matter of when. It's the same with 3D cameras, 3D photos. It really is a game changer, but we're there first. We're the only one there, and we think it's that technology edge that will enable us to succeed and grab considerable market share.
And you've got a number of customers in trial, what's the trial period and how does the conversion rate tend to work?
Yeah, so that's something that we're obviously working on at the moment. A typical trial period, they'll sign up for a month, but if they need longer. Having said that, we've had a lot of referrals from inspection agencies. We give them 3 months. And of course, during the Christmas time, so we're giving them 2 months. So, the short answer is as we're rolling out this year, we've been learning and we've been taking our time. Next year, one of my key focuses is shortening that transition period. But we haven't lost any of our customers, so that's good. But obviously, there's a lot of work ahead of us too.